Oh my god, man! 1,840 kills, 28 diamonds, and I think I still have like 2 level 5s on the map. Sheesh! Oh man. Hello and welcome in. I'm iBUYpremiums. I have 274 great ones now, including the Great One Wild Boar. This is my wild boar guide for Tornasheen. Woo! Bam! Fabled Smolder 175.50. In this video, I will go over drink zones, where you can find them, what time they drink, the feed times. There's 2 separate feed times on here. The loadout that I use to hunt the wild boar. How to set up the feed zones, since I chose to actually grind using feeders, and herd management for wild boar. Alright, before we jump into the information, I want to let you guys all know that I will be doing some giveaways for feeder DLC live on Twitch. There will be a link in the description for my Twitch channel as well as my Discord. You will need to be in the Discord as well as a follower on Twitch in order to enter. This will be for Steam users anywhere in the world and console players based in the United States. Alright, the first thing that we're going to talk about is drink zones. So on Tornasheen, there's a total of 20 to 25 total drink zones. The boar drink on this map from 0 to 3. I'm going to pull up a map here where you can actually look to find all the drink zones on the map, if that's the way that you're choosing to grind the wild boar. I chose not to do that specifically because they're pretty thick on the part of the map where you can see around the river and the creek down the middle. There's quite a bit of thick forest area where it's really difficult to actually set up on a zone to be able to hunt it properly. However, it can still be done with some effort. Alright, so the feed times for wild boar are going to be the next thing that I'm going to go over. I have found 13 really good locations to place feeders that attract multiple herds to one location. It allows you to grind both herds and solos at the same time. In this area of green on the map is where you're going to find feed zones for the wild boar. They feed at 2 separate times. The first time is early in the morning. You're looking for 3 to 7. And in the evening time, it's 17 to 21. So both of them you do have partial light. I chose to grind the 17 to 21 time and it has been really good overall. It's probably one of my favorite grinds that I've done so far. There is a little bit of a catch to that though. I set up my grind without finding any zones at all. I simply went out during the feed time. I set my time to 17:30 and I ran my map quite a bit, and if I happen to find any wild boar tracks or heard them calling, I would find an area to set up a feeder and begin setting up my zone exactly the way that I wanted it to be. That's actually a huge bonus to using feeders, is because you can set up a grind essentially exactly the way that you want it. Down to every distance. You can put the feeder in a wide open clearing to get the best possible shots. It's quite literally the ultimate customization grind. You can set it up exactly the way that you want to. So for my loadout, I use the Arzina 300, the Zarza 308. I'm using the Odin rifle scope from the Scope and Crosshair DLC. Apex View binoculars. And to start out, I'm only using the tent and bait barrel. So these two are the first things that you're going to be setting up with. Afterwards, once you get all of your locations set up with the tents and the bait barrel, you can go ahead and grab either a tripod or something else. I'm choosing to use the waterfowl blind for my shooting blinds. I grabbed those after I put the bait barrel back in. You can only place 8 of those on the map at one time. So once all bait barrels are set out, the one remainder that I have left, I put back into the stash, and then I grab the waterfowl blind to go out and put at my shooting tents. Look at all the boar running away from here. It's actually insane. It's the power of the feeders though, man. They bring in so many boar. This has been just such a good grind. All right, let's talk about the setup real quick though. So basically on this particular area, what I did is as I was running through, I saw a group of boar running through here. There was a couple of females with a level 4 male. And so what I decided to do was drop a feeder down here. Again, I didn't find the zone at the time. As you can see, they do have a feed zone here now. But I dropped the feeder down, and once you drop the feeder in a location, all you have to do is look for a place where you can get past 200 meters. So 200 meters is the fast travel spook radius for a tent when you're going through your grind, right? So on this particular one, I put my tent up here. We'll place a waypoint on that. And as you can see, it's back just over the ridge there at 237 meters. That gives you plenty enough room in order to fast travel to safely without spooking anything. And then we'll go up there and take a look back down at the barrel. Here we are at the shooting tent, and there the boar are just leaving again. Sounds like they're getting a little aggressive. We'll go ahead and get into the blind here. And as you can see, the barrel is right there at 207 meters, so it makes it a nice easy shot to zero at 150 and take very, very simple shots on a grind in just the wide open area, right? And directly behind that barrel there, we have our pickup tent. So with 8 feeders on the map, you're gonna have a shooting tent and a collection tent with 1 blind and 1 feeder. We have these over the southern portion of the map. Now, I've already moved mine around a few times. My first great one took me 1,840 kills with 20 diamonds, all right? You can see on the screen there that we have 191 kills with 4 diamonds into this next grind. Again, the herd management's not quite where it needs to be, but we'll get into that in a few. On the topic of the feeders, there are a couple of things that are really amazing about these actually. So just from the UI that you see here on the map, you can see these exclamation marks right here on the feeder icons. So this one right here, the yellow, means that it's low. You can actually click on it and it says it's a warning for 19% bait remaining. You can actually refill remotely. Click on that, costs $280. What you're feeding here is sour fermented mash. Just want to click refill on that, and that one is full again. So now when you get to the red one here, this means there's 0. This is actually empty and inactive. The boar are no longer attracted here. So just quickly again, you can refill remotely. Sour fermented mash. It costs $350 for a full refill. We'll go ahead and click on that and click refill. I'll go ahead and do that on each one of these. Now, these don't really drain very quickly. The only reason that these are actually to the point that they're at right now is because I've been doing this recording and the boar have been feeding there while I have not been shooting or moving to them. So as you can see, there's no more warnings or anything anywhere. So every feeder is full and active. All right, so herd management for boar, let's talk about that a little bit on this specific map. So it has a lower population than all the other maps and way less zones. So in order to achieve a good dime rate with them, if that's your goal, you're gonna have to shoot down all of your exteriors down to level 1, in my opinion. I've tried just doing the 2 and below, and it hasn't even been even close. I'm around like a 1 in 50 dime rate right now and still have quite a bit to shoot down. But slowly but surely, I'm working on that. I have not done any stacking. However, if you would like to do it quicker, it really shouldn't be too bad at all. You get level 5 stacked in your main shooting zones, the main zones that you're going to be grinding specifically, because there are 13 feeder locations to use. So 8 main zones are going to be the ones that you're going to use, and then the extra 5 that I have set up on the map, shoot those down to level 1 and female. And then once that's done, you can pick that feeder up and put it in a location where you want it. Now, even still with 8 feeders, even if you have the other 5 shot down, you're going to have so many boar in these zones that it's going to be beneficial for you to actually continuously work on those as well, like to shoot them down to level 1, except for 2 shooters, like 2 to 3 shooters per zone is about all you need for this to actually have a really good dime rate and a very productive grind. Outside of this map, if you were going to go say to COTW or something like that, they have a much higher population. They're all over the map, And for those, I would recommend shooting level 3 and up. I think that on the larger maps with way larger populations, I think that leaving 2 and below in exterior zones would be just fine. One other thing is when you're actually rotating your zones, don't be scared if they don't show up to the feeders directly. Like if I main menu and come back in, a lot of times they're not at the feeders straight away, even at the 1730 time change. So what I'll do is I'll fast travel to each shooting tent that I have in it, and it kind of like wakes them up, kind of gets them moving to the feeder. And generally by the time I get back to the first tent, they're there and ready to be grinded, right? So don't be scared of that. It's not a big deal. You don't have to burn a lot of 1-minute tricks or anything like that. I haven't been doing it. I've just been basically hopping zone to zone to zone until I have boar, and when I have boar, I take 2 per zone, pick them up, move to the next zone, and wash, rinse, repeat. I want to thank you so much for watching the video. If any of the information helped you or you learned anything, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to grow some more on YouTube, and all the help I can get over here is much appreciated. All right, much love, you guys. Have a good one. I'll catch you in the next one.